Hello, people of the Triple S 100K challenge. As you know, my name is Tom, and I am coming back after a 10-day. Usually, I've been releasing a video every week, but I took a week off because I was in a wedding. I was at a wedding in the Dominican Republic, but we're back in now. So I apologize for the 1 week off. Now, what I want to talk about today, in today's episode, is how I have potentially really messed up our SEO exposure, our SEO really the 4 years of SEO progress that we made by ranking for a few big terms in our niche, the male leggings niche. Now, as you can see on the screen, that our sales in May have been somewhat disappointing. To remind people who maybe haven't seen the other videos, in March we did about 5.2k pounds, so about 6.5k dollars. In April we did 4k pounds, so about 5k dollars. And now so far in the middle of May we've only made 750. Now, I can attribute that to a significant drop in Facebook spend as we sort of consolidated our strategy. An update on that, it's starting to work better now. We're buying purchases for around £12, but I'm not seeing the scale at that price point, at that cost per acquisition. So I'm still working on that. Maybe a next week video might sort of outline that strategy. But also because the lack of sales is because of our reduced SEO exposure, because of the translation from the stitchleggings.com domain, which has been our domain for the past 4 years, to meggings.com, which I recently acquired for a total of $150. So in this video, I'm going to outline how we were getting, I guess, 30% of our sales through SEO previously, and what has happened since we did that migration 2 weeks ago, and what we're going to do about that in the future. So, and then I'll also add in at the end a strategy, or like how I think that e-commerce stores can capitalize on that organic traffic. So as I mentioned, about 30% of our sales throughout the lifetime of this e-commerce store for the last 4 years have come from organic Google traffic, with our most impactful keyword being the term meggings, so just meggings, which is an abbreviation for the term male leggings. Now, we managed to rank, at times we managed to rank number 1 for meggings, but as of the last 12 months, we've been placed at number 2, 3, or 4, because we have a couple of big competitors in the niche with domains that include the word meggings. I'm quickly going to do a search for it here. So our two large competitors, meggingsman.com, you can see are number 1, and Kapow Meggings, you can see they're number 4, have the term meggings in the domain. And despite the fact, this is really interesting, that we rank, or we have better stats on the Moz. So if anybody's sort of into SEO, I would highly recommend going and downloading this plugin for Moz that shows you the page authority and the domain authority for each domain in a SERP, search engine results page. Now, we did actually have better stats here on stitchleggings.com, a better page authority and a better domain authority than meggingsman.com. You can't see it now because we're not ranked for that term anymore since I migrated. But we were still not ranking number 1, presumably because they had the term meggings in their domain. And therefore, when I sort of realized or became aware, you can see we're bidding on AdWords there as well, more about that later. I became aware of the opportunity to purchase a domain meggings.com. I thought, why not do a little test and purchase a domain and then migrate our site over to meggings.com, redirect all of the link juice using 3 or 5 redirects to the new domain, and seeing if we can get to number 1. And so I'll quickly outline why that was so crucial, or why that risk was worth taking, because of the amount of potential traffic for that keyword. So here are a bit more information on this. You can see here, this is just an update of what's really been happening. This is our organic traffic through Google, you can see here, since the start of this year. So you can see we're doing okay. Some nice lift. I think this is probably due to the amount we're spending on Facebook, more people just becoming aware of the brand. But you can see since the start of May, when we did the migration, we've seen a pretty drastic drop off there. And that is because we transferred all of the link juice, the whole site, to meggings.com. and therefore we are no longer, as you can see here, getting traffic. This is our Google Search Console for the old domain. As you can see at the start of May there, we stopped getting traffic because we told Google to start looking at meggings.com. So you can see here in the Google Search Console for meggings.com, we are starting to get search traffic on meggings.com, but not to the same extent. You can see 9 clicks here, but then we previously were getting up to 40 clicks, right? So my SEO guy has assured me that after about a month, we could be back up and we could be, again, ranking for even higher for that term, meggings, which is the target keyword. I'm quickly going to explain why this is the target keyword. You can see here, since the start of February, we've had 30k impressions for the term meggings, but just 631 clicks. So you can see that our click-through rate on meggings is about 2.09. Now, I've been informed that if we were to rank number 1 for meggings, we could see sort of a 3 to 5x improvement in that click-through rate, and therefore, instead of getting 2 clicks for every 100 impressions, we'd be getting up to 6 to 10 clicks every 100 impressions, and that would have a drastic effect on the amount we're making from SEO. So I guess it remains to be seen that whether with the new domain we can boost further up the rankings because of the fact we have that word in that domain, and the theory is that all of the authority, the page and domain authority from sTitch's is now being translated onto meggings.com, and then with that term in there, we should be able to get right back up, hopefully even hitting the number 1 spot, which would be awesome. Now, if it doesn't, that's fine. We can switch back, and it should be only another month until we regain our positioning there. But I thought it was worth the risk because of the 3 to 5x increase in traffic for that search term, and that would have a massive impact on sales. So I guess we will just wait and see. I'll update everybody in this campaign probably in about a month to see if this search traffic for this term is increasing. Now, just a quick sort of, I guess, little session on how to choosing SEO approaches for your e-commerce store. I think the one thing we did right to rank for these terms, meggings by male leggings by meggings, was that we chose keywords that were not too competitive. Because when going up against, there are some really competitive men leggings terms in our niche. So men leggings, for example, if we chose this keyword to optimize for, you can see that we would be going up against Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, eBay. Let's just put this into the Moz. I'll link to this Moz plugin below the video. It's completely free. You just need a Moz account. And so if we chose this term to rank for, we would be up against stores with this sort of page and domain authority, which even with years of SEO, we don't have the resources that Nike or Under Armour or Adidas do to optimize for. So really the key lesson here is to find that keyword that the big players will not be going after, either because it's sort of against their brand or because the search volume is too low. And of course, the best tool for this is Google's keyword planner, completely free. You just need an AdWords account. I'll link to that below as well. And so if you look at what we did with meggings, these companies, these large companies, are not sort of embracing the term meggings, so maybe it doesn't sort of go with their brand, or that they don't want to use that term. And probably the search volume, although big for us, if you remember here, we have the 30k impressions within 3 months, is probably not worthwhile for them to be bidding on. And so let's say you have a watch e-commerce store. There's probably a specific type of watch that the big players wouldn't use. They wouldn't use that term, but you can use that term, and then as well as optimizing for just the watch X or X watch, whatever that term would be, you can also optimize for buy X watch or buy watch X. So we did used to rank for before we did that, before we did the translation, for by meggings. You can actually see we are still ranking here, not number one. About 2 weeks we were number one for this term for by meggings, but that's when we had the old domain. And so now you can see this domain. If we go back and plug this into the Moz, you can see our new domain has significantly lower stats on the Moz plugin. I'm just going to type this in here. And this is because this domain is relatively new and hasn't had 4 years of love. Now, my SEO guy assures me that the love from stitchleggings.com will slowly trickle through to this domain. You can see only a page authority of 1 and a domain authority of 4. But in theory, the love from, or the link juice at stitchleggings.com, giving it the higher domain and page authority, will seep through onto this domain. Let's just quickly see if I can show you the stats for the old domain if we're still being indexed by Google. So let's try Stitch Leggings. Okay, so I don't believe Google. We've told Google to not lift any of the Stitch Leggings, the old Stitch Leggings domain, which is fine. Doesn't mean like I can't show you the page authority, but we were beating Meggings Man, and I think we had about 36 page authority and then like 27 domain authority, and so hopefully that will feed into here, and then with this the keyword.com, we should be able to improve our ranking for the big keyword in the niche, which will have a massive impact on our sales, Meggings. But of course, we are experiencing the painful loss of organic traffic at the moment. As you can see, our sales and traffic in May significantly lower. So that is how we're doing for SEO. That is I thought it was important to record this video actually because it shows that even stores that are doing relatively well have issues and get things wrong potentially and take risks. But that's really, I think, what business is all about, is taking calculated risks and either seeing the payoff or trying other things if they don't work. So I thought it was important to record this video to show that in the e-commerce world, or in the relatively successful e-commerce world, not everything is rosy and it's really hard for everybody, but you just have to sort of enjoy the journey, fight the fight, and keep getting up to improve your business, and therefore help other people, help your customers' lives every day, and ultimately you will get there. So with that, thank you for watching, and I will speak to you next week.